My name is Michelle and I talk books, and today we are going to be talking about September. What did I read in September? Thank you so much for watching. Brace yourself. Brace myself, I should say. Brace myself. I only read 7 books this month. It was rough. But it wasn't. It was so much fun. I don't even want to lie. I've read such good books. I can't be that unhappy about it. I always plan for so much more, and then I feel like I set myself up when I don't achieve that goal. I have planned on reading at least 12 books in October, and I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Let's talk about what I did read, and then we're going to talk about what I am reading, and then at the very end, I'm going to have you choose my next book. And you can either comment below or you can find me over at Instagram. Most of you like talking to me on Instagram, which is fine. DM me on Instagram. I love talking on Instagram, probably because we can have more of a back and forth discussion about things. Let's get started because we have a lot to talk about, even though there's only 7 of them. We still have a lot to talk about. Up on your screen, number 1, first book I finished in August was Jackie and Maria, and I got to talk to Jill Paul. Not unhappy about that. That was, I want to say it was my favorite book in August. Can I say that? I'm looking. This one, I mean, it was so good. It was absolutely perfect. Everything I wanted to know about Jackie Kennedy. You know, I am a huge historical fiction fan. So what was there not to love about this book? I had Jill writing about it. It was near perfection, 5 stars. Next book I read was Interference by Brad Parks. You have asked over and over again for me to rate books by stars. I have, up until this point, avoided that. But I can't. I have to succumb to the pressure of the star system, so I will. 5 stars means it has to change your life. You have to carry it on with you for a while, for a long time. You have to remember it. That's what 5 stars means to me. Interference with Brad Parks, it didn't do that for me. I only gave it 3 stars. I love Brad with all my heart. Just so you know, I have enjoyed his books in the past. This one, quantum physics, I kind of got lost. And then I got bored. I'm sorry. It just isn't my thing. Not that it couldn't be your thing. It just isn't my thing. I don't know what to say, but I give it a 3 stars. And then I started on the gay Bratz series, True to Me and No Place Too Far, up on your screen. I have never read Kay Bratz books before. That's why I read the 2 of them together. I am also going to give you a little bit of accounting of how many pages I did accomplish in September. It makes me feel better. And I thought it's a good way to rate myself and to keep myself accountable too. Back to Kay, Quinn's story. Her mother makes a deathbed confession which sends her to Hawaii. Reading this book, Kay did such a great job of making me feel like I was in Hawaii. I actually felt like I was there. I loved it. Couldn't wait to read the next one, No Place Too Far, which also brings in her friend Maggie. Their 2 stories just kept me reading, and I enjoyed it so much. I'm going to give it 4 stars. Only, each one of them 4 stars, only because, like I said, I didn't carry the story with me for a while, like I did with Jackie and Maria. That's my benchmark, if you want to call it that. It has to carry me through that. At the end of the month, I can say, oh my gosh, I so remember that book, every word of it. It carried with me. It changed me. That's 5 stars. Back to True to Me and No Place Too Far. They are great reads. I cannot suggest them enough. If you love women's fiction, you will enjoy those books. Next, I read Monogamy by Sue Miller. And my expectations were low because I was reading bad reviews, and I don't usually go on reviews. And for some reason I was on Goodreads and people were saying, long, boring, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. It was 352 pages. People, let's relax. This was not a long book. I always want to respond to people when I feel like they're wrong or I have a different opinion. I want to respond. I love this book. I love how she delved into this relationship. We have Annie and Graham. Her story, first of all, I have a daughter named Annie, so I always love, and that's a very common name in books. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. I'd love to count the Annies in a book. I love how she explored monogamy in relationships and what it means, and how in Annie's life it changed from the beginning of her life, of her sexual life, until the end of her life. I love that Sue could do that, and I loved every word of this book. I am giving it 5 stars. I learned a lot. It helped me to think about my own life, I carried it with me for a while. 5 stars, Sue. Loved it. Next, Wendy Walker's Don't Look for Me. Oh my gosh. Now I'm looking through my books because I'm like, okay, Monogamy was up there. But my favorite books from this month were Jackie and Maria, Monogamy, and then Don't Look for Me, which was a thriller. Wendy does such an amazing job. And Wendy, this is your best one. And I hate to say that because I always think, oh, you always think that for the last one you've read. I don't know. I've read her books. I think this one was incredible. I loved it. I went on the ride with her. She didn't lose me. The chapters were fast paced. This is easily a 5-star thriller. Easily. What happened to Molly Clark? Did she walk away from her family? Did she not walk away? Answering that question and going through the journey of what she went through and then what her daughter went through. I love that, Wendy. It was pure perfection. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Can't say enough good stuff. And I've been on Instagram, and Wendy, if you're watching this, I'm not stalking you. Like everybody who talks about this book, all you got to do is put the hashtag in there, and I put the hashtag Don't Look for Me, and my feed is just full of everybody is saying the same thing, and then I'm chiming in, and Wendy must be going crazy. I'm not stalking you. I'm just trying to tell everyone how awesome it is. The last book I finished of the month was a book I hadn't planned on reading. My son Ian, he always reads self-help books. He's 21. He's really into them. And usually he'll say, Mom, did you read this book? And I'll be like, yes, 10 years ago. That's my usual response to him. But with this one, I was like, no. The 50th Law by 50 Cent and Robert Greene. It was only 297 pages. I read it slowly. I kind of read it all through the month. I got to finish it. I think it really helped me to think about my business because it really goes into 50 Cent's business. If you don't know who he is, he's a rapper. Robert Greene really goes into explaining like how he went from a drug dealer to a very successful rapper. And so it made me think about my business and basically about fear. What stops us is our fear. And I think I'm always afraid. I'm always afraid of my business. I'm always afraid of how my videos are going to do or who's going to like them and who's not going to like them and bad comments and why isn't mine as popular as someone else's? Oh, but I do really well on LinkedIn and I do really well on this platform. But when I want my YouTube platform to be really good, like I can't seem to get there. And then I start judging myself. But what I got from this was he was a convicted drug dealer. And then he went to the top of the rap charts. I took away a lot of lessons from it. I'm going to only give it a 4-star because I'm not going to say it's the greatest self-help book I've ever read or the most spiritual, but it definitely kept me turning pages and I really did enjoy reading his story. 7 books, that's it. Let's talk about what I'm reading right this second. I am reading 3 books, and this is what I do. When people say, how do you pick your books? How do you finish some, not finish others? I always start 3 books. One's always an audio, and then 2 are either both Kindle or in this case, I was able to get my hands on this. It's a hardback. I only read during the day. I read this book during the day, and I'm not very far into it yet. I am getting there because it is really good. Like, seriously, if I could just sit and read all day, I would be able to finish this book in a day. On my Kindle, I have the ThreeMRS Writes. Oh my gosh. It is so good. I can't sleep at night. It is so good. It's keeping me up till midnight every night. It makes me so happy. It's one of those women's fiction books that you're not even trying to read it fast. I do want to know what happens. I do want to know what happens. I'm not so excited to get there because I don't want it to end. I don't know. Tell me below. Did you ever feel that way? Tell me on Instagram. Did you ever feel that way? Did you ever read a book slowly only because you're enjoying it, the writing so much that you don't want it to end? That's me with this book. ThreeMRS Writes is written by Linda Keir. Linda's a woman and it's Keir. Keir is a guy. They are writing partners, married to other people. This is the first one I've read of theirs and I am hooked. We'll be reading more of those. The Book of Two Ways by Jodi Picoult. So good. I'm listening to it. It's long. It was like 13 hours, 12 to 13 hours. And I hesitated before I hit that button because I'm like, oh no, I am in for a long book. This is a long audio. The audio I use when I'm doing my chores. Now I'm moving right now, so I'm packing. I also work and, so every break I have, I'm listening to it. So that's how I do it during the day. day. If I have time to sit down and read, then I'm sitting down and reading. If I don't, and then I have the audio on, I'm always giving myself options because I need to be reading books at all times. What I want to tell you is these 3 books are all so good. Usually one will win. One will pull me in and I'll start like pulling away from other 2. And that's not happening. And so they're going slow. I'm not unhappy about that. But I'm just saying, like, it's weird. I'm used to one of them just taking over and then I'll finish it really quick and go back. But that's not happening here. Big question. I have talked long enough. What should I read next? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Mariah Carey comes out with a book. Why don't I know about this? I have no idea. I look on book lists all the time. Why are people not talking about it? I found out on social media and I'm like, Mariah Carey has a book out? Gosh, how am I going to not read Mariah Carey's book? I love memoirs. I don't know. But then what I had lined up as my next book is To Tell You the Truth by Jilly McMillan. I love Jilly. Tell me which book to read next. Do we go with Mariah? Do we go with Jilly? Thriller? Memoir. I'm torn, but I'm thinking it's going to be Mariah. So you might have to talk me out of Mariah. If you don't think I should read Mariah's book, you might have to talk me out of it. Thank you for watching. That was so much fun. I am hoping to do way better in October, but I'm not upset about September. It was fun. I enjoyed every word. Oh, and I wanted to tell you the page count. I almost forgot. I read 2,453 pages in August, which comes down to almost 82 pages a day. I love doing that because of them being some of them audio and some of them reading. And, I thought, you know what, I'm going to start doing this because I want to gauge myself. I don't know how many pages I normally read. I don't know if I'm having a good month or not. Now I'm going to know. Let's see how the rest of the year goes. I'm excited to see how I do. Thank you for watching. Hit like if you enjoyed this. Please subscribe because it makes me happy. It makes my day. Thank you. Until my next video.